From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Wednesday, June 29th. We're going to get back into the 80s today, but we're going to have really low humidity, so it's going to feel great. Fair, comfortable conditions, calm winds. It'll last through the afternoon into the evening with lows in the mid-60s. The state has declared an air quality alert day for most of central and southern Indiana for today. It's the sixth time a warning like this has come in more than 2 weeks. IDEM cites high ozone levels and the temperature, though the Storm Track 8 team expects it to stay in the 80s. As I mentioned, experts caution that children, seniors, and anyone with a heart or lung problem is at high risk. Officials say you can help conditions by driving less, avoiding gassing up until the evening, and setting your thermostat higher to use less energy. The IMPD chief is explaining to iTeam 8 why he released the body camera video showing a man's death while in custody. The video is 21 minutes long that the department released. The minute the police arrived until paramedics tried to revive Herman Whitfield III in April. Whitfield is seen in the video running from room to room. He's naked. Police say his parents told them that Whitfield was having a mental health crisis. An officer tased Whitfield after police say he lunged at the officer. Whitfield is tased again as officers handcuff him. The video also shows Whitfield on his stomach for at least 3 minutes until paramedics arrived. Efforts to revive him failed. iTeam 8's Richard Essex spoke with Chief Randall Taylor after the video's release.
Why are you releasing this video?
Well, the community asked for it. So honestly, I would have liked to have had the autopsy report, the complete report, before releasing the video, but I'm not exactly sure when that's going to be available. So the community's asked for it. A number of different groups have asked us to do this for a while, and I just think it's at the point where I just need to release it.
Whitfield's family is suing the city and the 6 officers involved for wrongful death. The family is also calling for IMPD to release the entire unedited video. They say IMPD's version leaves out important pieces of the narrative, like Whitfield calling out, "I can't breathe," 4 times. Local pastor David Green agrees. He told News 8 the city needs to make sure real change comes out of this for mental health situations.
We have to be a better city than that. We have to address that. And you can't run from that issue. We have to own it across the board. And that means leadership has to own it. Community has to own it and pushing, saying, okay, we're better than that. What do we need to do differently?
Whitfield's family released a statement urging IMPD to not present a biased and false narrative. The family wrote in part, all body cam videos should be released, and IMPD should honestly respond to the misconduct of its officers, to which led to Herman's death.
It was unpatriotic. It was un-American. We were watching the Capitol building get defaced over a lie.
A former White House aide to former President Trump, Cassidy Hutchinson, delivers stunning testimony before the House committee investigating the U.S. Capitol insurrection. Hutchinson worked for former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. She described an angry and defiant President Trump in a moment-to-moment account of January 6th. Hutchinson said Trump tried to let armed protesters avoid security screenings at his rally that morning. She said Trump directed White House staff to lower security because he was upset the crowd wasn't big enough.
I overheard the president say something to the effect of, I don't effing care that they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me. Take the effing mags away. Let my people in. They can march to the Capitol from here.
Hutchinson testified that President Trump made desperate attempts to join his supporters as they marched to the Capitol.
The president said something to the effect of, I'm the effing president. Take me up to the Capitol now. To which Bobby responded, sir, we have to go back to the West Wing.
Hutchinson said she was told Trump fought a security official for control of the presidential SUV on January 6th, then demanded to be taken to the Capitol as the insurrection began. Hutchinson described chaos in the White House offices and hallways as the mob began to chant, "Hang Mike Pence." After the hearing, Trump said he hardly knows Hutchinson. He said he personally rejected a request she made to join his post-presidency staff at Mar-a-Lago. And the Secret Service is making agents involved that day available to testify under oath. The service released a statement after the hearing saying it has been cooperating with the Select Committee since its inception in spring of 2021 and will continue to do so, including by responding on the record to the committee regarding the new allegations surfaced in today's testimony. Abortion providers in Indiana say demand is surging for their services. Women's Med in Indianapolis reports patients' numbers have doubled since Friday's Supreme Court ruling overturning Roe v. Wade, and the calls from several state leaders to ban procedures here. The clinic says women are panicking and are afraid of a lack of care. Planned Parenthood is also seeing more patients.
We were expecting that, so our navigation team has been ready and answering phone calls and directing folks and just kind of letting them know that there are other things that they can be doing and that we are still open, we're still accessible, and abortion is still safe here in Indiana.
Planned Parenthood is planning an abortion rights rally for July 9th. Ukraine's president is now calling for Russia's expulsion from the United Nations. Volodymyr Zelensky virtually addressed the UN Security Council yesterday. He called Russia a terrorist state for its missile attack on a Ukrainian shopping mall. Authorities say at least 18 people died and 50 others were injured. Zelensky said leaders need to do everything to make Russia stop the killing spree.
As of now, the United Nations does not have a legal definition of the term terrorist state agreed by all UN members, but this war that Russia is waging against Ukraine demonstrates not only the meaning of this concept, but also the urgent necessity to enshrine it legally at the level of the United Nations and punish any terrorist state.
Russia's expulsion is essentially impossible. It's a permanent council member, so it could use a veto to block any attempt to remove it. And the U.S. is taking aim at one of Russia's largest imports, gold. The other G7 nations also agreed to join the U.S. in banning all gold imports from the country. A White House official says the move is aimed at weakening the Russian economy. On Monday, Russia defaulted on its foreign debt for the first time in more than a century. Ghislaine Maxwell is sentenced to 20 years in prison for helping Jeffrey Epstein sexually abuse young girls. A judge sentenced Maxwell yesterday after hearing from victims. The sentence is longer than the punishment called for in federal sentencing guidelines. In explaining the added time, the judge called the crimes horrific. At the sentencing, Maxwell said that she hopes her conviction brings the victims closure. Former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder and 8 other people will not face charges for the Flint water crisis, at least not for now. The state Supreme Court unanimously threw out indictments against the group yesterday. Justices say a county judge failed to take a necessary legal step in the indictment process, rendering them invalid. Michigan's Attorney General says the investigation will continue. In Washington, Indiana Senator Mike Braun is pushing back against President Biden's student loan relief plans. Braun joined Florida Senator Rick Scott in introducing what they've dubbed the Debt Cancellation Accountability Act. It would require Congress to approve any mass cancellations. President Biden has proposed canceling up to $10,000 in student loan debt per borrower. The plan stalled when he asked Congress to approve the measure. Braun says Biden's plan would unfairly shift student loan debt onto all Americans and calls Biden's plan massive executive overreach. It's not Braun's first jab at Biden's student loan plans. Earlier this year, he sponsored a bill that would stop extensions of student loan forgiveness. Noblesville rejects a controversial gravel pit plan. City councilors voted 7-2 last night against the proposal. Noblesville-based Beaver Materials hope to dig a gravel pit next to Potter's Bridge Park. According to our partners at the Indianapolis Business Journal, Beaver planned to excavate for 5 years, then create a lake to donate to the county. City councilors against the plan said the location is not good for industrial operations and that the land could instead be turned into another park. The group Don't Leave It to Beaver fought the plan for months over worries of noise, traffic, and pollution. It said in a statement, "We hope that tonight's victory inspires citizens to become more outspoken and involved in their government's processes." FDA vaccine advisors are recommending an Omicron-specific component for booster shots this fall. 19 of the 21 advisors voted for the change. The next step would be full approval from the FDA, likely in the next few days. The CDC says 2 Omicron variants are the source of half of the country's current COVID cases. Work resumes this morning to identify more of the 51 bodies found in an abandoned tractor-trailer in San Antonio. Authorities are describing the issues complicating that effort. So far, medical examiners have possibly ID'd 34 of the victims of the country's deadliest human smuggling attempt. Most of the bodies did not hold documents. Investigators do not know how long the migrants were abandoned on the side of the road. Texas Representative Henry Cuellar says the truck driver and 2 others are under arrest. Police tracked the truck's registration to a San Antonio home where 2 people were detained for weapons possession. Officials also confirmed the truck had mechanical problems Monday when it stopped. Local leaders in Missouri say they've pushed for years to change the intersection where a train hit a truck this week. The collision killed 4 people and hurt 150 more. County officials say they reached out to the state 3 years ago and were told there were repair plans for the crossing. The National Transportation Safety Board says the crash could have been prevented.
Anytime our recommendations aren't heeded, of course, I'm upset because we see tragedy after tragedy after tragedy and numerous fatalities and injuries. And we know, and it's very frustrating for our investigators, very frustrating when they are on scene and they know what would have prevented this.
The NTSB says it's working to find out how fast the train was moving when the horn was blown and if the emergency brake was deployed. Some of those findings could come out as soon as today. The Indiana State Fair is revealing some of the specific plans for this year's theme, celebrating Indiana's automotive excellence. It will feature several highlights in the Harvest Pavilion, including pop culture cars like a Ghostbuster, Ectomobile, the Mystery Machine, and a Batmobile. At the Coliseum, you'll be able to watch the assembly of a Ford Model T in 10 minutes. In the Farm Bureau building, Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum will have a display of Indy 500 traditions. There will also be a daily car exhibit along Main Street. This year's fair runs from July 29th through August 21st. And IMPD says plan ahead if you want to see the downtown July 4th fireworks show. City leaders revealed safety plans ahead of next week's display. Police say expect heavy traffic downtown. Officers will be on the streets and in squad cars. Some will be in plain clothes. The 20-minute show will launch from a site next to the Regions Tower. It starts at 10 p.m. Around 3,500 fireworks will go off, all synced to music. And today, another Indy Parks pool opens for the summer. Ellenberg Park is the 8th of 17 city pools to welcome families. The others are still closed because of a lifeguard shortage. Hours are limited to at all of the pools that are open Wednesday through Sunday, 11 to 2, then 3 to 6. And also today, city leaders will kick off a $25 million construction project across Indianapolis. It's the second phase of Mayor Hogsett's Circle City Forward initiative. The Department of Public Works says crews will reconstruct nearly 90 miles of deteriorated streets. Also included in the project are new ADA ramps, plus new curbs and sidewalks. Mayor Hogsett will join city leaders for a news conference at 11 o'clock this morning. And finally, college sports are changing every day because of name, image, and likeness deals. Our Charlie Clifford takes a look at how this all affects top teams here in the Hoosier State.
It is the wild, wild west. Presidents of universities do not know where this thing is headed.
1 year ago this week, collegiate student athletes got the green light. Paying players is legal. In college basketball, at least one deal this upcoming season reportedly worth well over 7 figures.
We are in an era of college athletics where players can monetize their name, image, and likeness. And they are going to use that as one of the deciding factors on where they play basketball. This is the new reality. This is legal. This is playing by the rules.
IU alums Eric Pankowski and Ward Roberts are taking time away from their successful careers in Hollywood to operate a collective, a term for individuals working outside of a college institution, gathering financial contributions, brokering business opportunities for student athletes to earn that money legally through promotional work. This fall, the second annual Hoosier Hysterics Fan Fest plans to pay IU players for their time.
I just think some schools have alumni that are more aggressive than others when it comes to this stuff. We realized there's this need coming, and we weren't sure who was going to fill the void. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
Purdue is taking a slightly different approach. The Boilermaker Marketplace Exchange is an online portal for players and businesses to connect and strike deals without the help of a middleman.
It's really the front porch for NIL at Purdue University. Businesses can go and register and see a directory of all the student athletes at Purdue. From there, they can propose NIL deals and then actually pay the student athletes. So it's a one-stop shop.
At Butler, the major backers around the Bulldogs basketball program are pursuing both a collective and an exchange model. Essentially, if you have a major basketball or football program anywhere in America, you will eventually have a version of both. Now, the rules around NIL, there is one at the moment. No deals can be negotiated until that player arrives on campus. The oversight of this, however, murky at best. Charlie Clifford, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.